Hi guys, something a little bit different today. We were in school and we thought we'd record a video together. Kind of similar to our boxing podcast, but in a video form. So we got Ben here. And we're going to be talking about boxing, like Wilder Fury and Joshua's mandatories. And I thought we'd talk about Triple G in it as well, and the middleweight division of it. So what do you think of Wilder and Fury and how the press conference has gone so far?
The press conferences were a bit, I guess, like compared to the last fight, light-hearted. Like they were a bit, they took it a bit easier on each other this time, which does seem like there's a bit more respect in like than they've been in the ring with each other. I do see a different result coming out this time. Or like first fight, I thought that Fury was gonna whoop him. I thought he was gonna beat him easily, but I feel like this time now, like from what Wilder's shown from knocking out Brazil in the first round, and from knocking out Luis Ortiz in the rematch, he just proves that like anyone can be beaten him, and one punch lands and he's got another win on his record. So I feel like proven by Fury in the first fight, because he got knocked down and he almost didn't get up in the 12th round. I feel like that'll happen again. I feel like he won't get up. I feel like Wilder will stop him. I hate to say, because I do really like Tyson Fury and I do want him to win, but I feel like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I thought the press conferences were a bit like poor compared to the last. It's not as much fun and stuff. And I also believe that Wilder will knock out Fury. I think based on his poor opponent choices in Schwartz and Wallen, I think even Brazil and Ortiz are higher level. Say Ortiz is coming to the twilight of his career. We don't know how much longer he'll be around. I do also believe that Wilder will knock out Fury because Fury's starting to slow down. He's the only heavyweight based on speed and stuff. So I think he is starting to slow down. Yeah, I do think he'll get knocked out. I don't know what round. I go feel it'll be later when he's tired.
Yeah, I'd say like round 10. That's round 10.
I go for 11 or 12. I think maybe pull someone watch. But we gotta take into account for when he faces dangerous opponents, he does step up his levels. Like you didn't see Wallen and Schwartz as a threat. I think the way he dealt with Schwartz so easily was because it was his first fight on ESPN. He wanted to make an impression, but being a second fight, it was all normal to him at this point. So he didn't blow pop performance against Wallen, but we gotta give credit where credit's due. Wallen is all better than he thought he was.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I think of Wilder Fury too, and I'm interested to see it.
I agree with you on what you said about Fury, especially with his fight with Schwartz, because if you saw his walkout, he done Apollo Creed style, you know, everything. It was put on a show for anybody watching ESPN, you know. So and I feel like that was the case on our first fight back after Wilder. He just wanted to prove like I'm still here, you know, I'm still good, and it weren't like a thing to say I'm gonna pick him apart or anything. He just wanted to show off, show his skill. I think he wanted to show his personality in the ring. You know how he is in press conferences, you know, showing off, you know. Just trying to belittle a person. I feel like that's what he tried doing with Schwartz, and it worked because Schwartz was on the European level. Yeah, he was undefeated, but he has never versed anybody that Fury versed. You know? He's never versed anybody up to that level. And I think Otto Wallin then he expected him to be an easy challenge, which maybe he could have been, but obviously when he got caught then in was it the 3rd or 4th round and the cut out punch, that was I think that's probably the worst cut he's had in his career. 2 as well, because he had him on his eyelid. Really bad. And I think actually it was a good show, like apart from Fury. I wouldn't say it was his best performance, because he did get caught with punches that some better boxers missed, you know. I feel like his head game was a bit was a bit different because he wasn't expecting that. You know, so I feel like he was caught off guard, but he still managed to pull through. So I gotta respect Fury for that because yeah, it wasn't the best performance, but he's still done a good job in that situation. So yeah.
Next, we're gonna talk about Anthony Joshua and his mandatories. It's most likely Liverpool if is going to be first. We're looking to do a purse spread at the end of the month. Sky's obviously going to win it. I think. We should. And Usyk maybe later on this year. So, what do you think of Liverpool? Have you seen much of him?
I haven't seen much of him. I know that Usyk is. I saw his two most recent fights against Tony Bellew and what was the guy's name?
Witherspoon,
yeah. I almost said the actress and but anyway, I saw his two most recent fights, and he looks good, especially with Bellew as well. You know, he just picked him apart and then knocked him out with a 1-2, and it was kind of hard to watch because I actually really liked Tony Bellew.
Same.
But
I gotta admit, I'm a bit of a Tony Bellew fanboy. I will admit, that's the only fight so I take away my objective views wrongly, and I do I always thought that Usyk was a tough fight, but I always hoped that he would pull it off. I shouldn't have hoped because it didn't happen. He's the only fighter where I do give away my objective views and will personally get attached. Because I really like Bellew.
That's good though, man.
he's a good guy as well as a good boxer.
I think in heavyweight, given his age, I think if he stayed a heavyweight, brought up his speed, I think he would have beaten a few good contenders. Obviously, Hay was past it.
Yeah.
But he might have beaten a couple of. If he got selected his opponents carefully, he would have beaten a good bunch of opponents.
I think seeing like Tony Bellew versus like I don't know Chisora or something, that would have been cool. Like,
I don't think they would never fought.
No, they wouldn't have fought, but like a fantasy fight like that would have been interesting. Because what you saw with Hay was first fight he had the foot injury. You did notice that making him. You saw that make a problem. But I feel like the only risk Hay gave to Bellew was that Hay's got really good power, you know. So obviously he does these wild punches as well. So and obviously he did catch Bellew a few times in the first fight, and then the second fight he was like, no injuries, I'm perfect going into it. And then him saying he's perfect and getting dropped in the third round and getting beaten up in the fourth and fifth, I think just proves then how bad he was past his prime. So I feel like it was a good move for him to retire after that fight.
Yeah, I think mainly it was based on speed and everything as well. So obviously I was a big impact and what happened. So you haven't seen much of Pulev, no?
No, I haven't.
I have to get off here because I forgot the opponent's name, but his last fight was against Raidel Booker. It was a decision. He did drop him once, and he survived through.
He beat Fury as well. And Chisora.
Let's take account of his opponents. After Klitschko only got knocked out badly in 5 rounds.
That's Klitschko. That must have been like one of the last defence Klitschko must have done.
Before, I think it was the second last defence before Fury had Jennings, who at the time was undefeated. So we take his opponents into account. So George Arias, who's old. I think he's old. Maurice Harris.
He looks like a journeyman, 26 to 20.
Yeah, he's a journeyman, but I don't think you've ever seen this, but Maurice Harris had an excellent fight with Derek Jefferson back in 2000, 1999 or something. I watched it on YouTube. It was an excellent fight, and yeah.
Chisora as well.
Chisora is higher level, but he was fortunate to claim a decision. And then he's got Samuel Peter, who's way past her. Kevin Johnson, who's now a journeyman who likes to take people the distance. Huey Fury's his best win lately. Bogdan Dino came off that loss against Javel Miller, and Raidel Booker, who took the distance.
He's got some good names then.
He hasn't got the best of records, but he hasn't he's got names and everything, I know, so I know everyone except George Arias really. and on his way up, he didn't find anyone good except Tony Thompson. And fair enough, he didn't knock out Ustinov when he was undefeated, but
95.
I know most of the names on there. Joey Abel's a former opponent of Tyson Fury. So, yeah. Judging on our record, well, I know you can't judge on the records. Styles make fights, the old cliche, but do you think it's going to be hard to step up to Joshua's level?
I would definitely say so, yeah. He hasn't faced as many big names as Josh, but
That's good, come on.
and I feel like he's got knocked out. Because the only with Joshua's older fights, there always used to be that thing like where his opponent had lost before, maybe once or twice, and they'd be like, well, he's lost before, so he's got that drive in him. Whereas Josh was lost now himself, so I feel like that's really lit the spark.
I think that's a really interesting point, and I think this is the most interesting. I think now he's got an opponent that's not Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz, after I lost, they made him have a drive, and you knew he couldn't go to war with him. Even at 280 pounds, I think Ruiz had never been involved in punching, but if you let him get combinations off, a 280 pound man who's fast is a very big problem. So Kulev is looking to be the next fight. The most common perception, I think, would have to be him getting knocked out.
Yeah, I'd say he'd be kind of similar to what when Anthony Joshua fought Alexander Povetkin. I think that'd be kind of similar, like a guy that's well, even though Povetkin is still one of the top heavyweights at the moment, I would say that I feel like the result would be the same.
I do understand. I think Pulev would give him a close first few rounds. I think he would start to knock him out. I think he would knock him out like 8 to 10. So mid to late rounds.
Yeah, I'd probably go for that as well.
That's my opinion. But it's interesting because he's lost now, and he could turn into one of those boxers that just goes to 12-round decisions all the time and boxes safe. And that would affect his market value also.
Yeah,
it depends.
His ratings have gone down just because they think he's just going in it to get a check.
Yeah, so Usyk, former undisputed cruiserweight champ. What do you think?
I think you
like at heavyweight, what do you think?
I have a feeling that you'll do a good job against Joshua. Like he's tall as well. He's 6'4.5", 79.5 inch reach. That's good. But Joshua has the slight advantages, but it's not like a huge difference. So I feel like it won't be like he won't brutalise him, but I don't think it'll be a close fight. I think it'll be quite. I think it'll be decisive, but it won't be.
Like with Pulev, I think either a KO or a wide decision.
I would say. For AJ, I'm gonna guess, I'd say late round knockout, TKO or something.
So Usyk, Alexander Usyk. What do you rate his chances?
I'd say he's got higher chances than Pulev.
Yeah, I think his skills are unbelievable. Like,
I think he showed that with his last 2 fights. I mean, he's in a new weight class now as well because he was in cruiserweight before. And now he's in heavyweight, and I feel like he can move as well. He's a southpaw. He knows out here.
I feel he will apply stick and move against AJ like AJ did against Ruiz. I think he will circle him around. The first round will always be. First round, I think he will barely throw 15-20 punches because he's looking to suss up patterns. Also with the Ukrainians, it was like Lomachenko against Campbell. Took a while to suss him out and then pick him apart.
Yeah.
So I think Usyk is a dangerous fight for Joshua, and I think he could lose that.
I think it's possible, yeah.
It is plausible. We'll see what happens, but it's very plausible.
I know with Southpaw and Orthodox when they fight, reach doesn't matter as much as when two people in the same stance meet. But there would be a height and reach difference between Joshua and Usyk, because I think Usyk is like 6'3", and whereas Joshua's like 6'6". And I don't know about the reach, but I'm sure there's about 4 inches of reach per day. So if Joshua can make it count, and if he can use it to his advantage, like what he done with Ruiz, just keep popping the jab a lot, and then come in with a right hand, I think he can make. I think he could beat Usyk, but then I can't underestimate Usyk. I can't put him down because of what he done to Tony Bellin, who's a big name. But maybe he was past his prime, but after showing off what he done with David Haye, you can't say that he was miles off, you know. And he did beat him quite decisively.
The last thing I want to talk about with you is Golovkin, and he seems to be at the moment. He seems to be outsider in the middleweight. His career seems to be pretty much. I say finished may be too far a word, but like he's in a bad he's in a bad position. I think like in his last fight against Derevyanchenko, he showed why he was past it. And I was thinking to myself, I think this is a good point. If you look at Golovkin's record here, right? Everyone who's a solid opponent, he's going to decision with a knockouts. You know, and I'm not saying that's bad. I'm saying when you just step up to the elite level. So you've mainly got Canelo, Danny Jacobs, and Derevyanchenko. Even though he lost to Danny Jacobs was a hell of a fighter himself. He was top 5 middleweight and super middleweight. Even though he can't make middleweight, I would still put him in top 5 in the middleweight if he chose to ever come down again. I think he'd only come down for a massive fight, but super middleweight is top 5. I think he's a bit past it now, and I think this fight with Camille Shermato, or whatever you say it. I don't even know.
Your name if you watch this video, but you're not doing
this. 21-0 with 5 knockouts. I did see his last fight. I don't know who his last fight was with. I think it was a journeyman of sorts.
5 knockouts?
Yeah, in 21. But I think his power is underrated. I think he did drop a guy in the last fight. I think he did actually stop him, to be honest. I think he's a risky fight, and I'm not saying that just because the article say it's a risky fight. I do believe that people will put Golovkin as a huge favourite, and
possibly could be wrong.
Yeah. So what do you think of Golovkin and the stages going on?
I haven't seen too much of Golovkin recently, but I have to agree with you on that. I do think that this could be a risky fight for him. I mean, yeah, the guy's only got 5 knockouts out of 21 wins, but he's undefeated as well.
We all know Golovkin can take a shot, so we're not gonna.
Even if he
we're not gonna say, Golovkin's gonna get knocked out or anything. I think Golovkin could knock him out. Overpowered, he's a very, very tough dude. He won the European middle title. I haven't seen much of him. He's got good skill from what I saw in his last fight. Because I believe I was on the Golovkin undercard. Yeah, he was. So I do believe that he could be an issue for Golovkin, but Golovkin's got to be cut.
I think Golovkin will win, but I think he'll show people that you can't underestimate anybody in boxing. You can't put anybody down.
Yeah, I think
the only person who can't underestimate that guy is Golovkin himself, because you always see people who are 2-time, 3-time champs, and that's because they've underestimated people. You know, so like new Joshua underestimated Ruiz, you know, and he lost because he went into war with him thinking he could put him away easily.
Yeah, I think Golovkin's coming to the twilight as well. He's 37. He's got power and he's got a chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think his power is kind of overrated, you know, in a bit.
I'd say so.
But he's still strong, but he's definitely like on the outsiders in the middleweight game. I feel that I feel he's in a bad position now where nobody really wants to fight him because they don't see him. They see him as a big name, but I think if they won, people say no, he's passing or something. People don't want to really fight him because he's one of those fighters where You get the belt for winning, but you're not going to get much credit for it now. I believe anyway. I feel after Camille shows Meta, after he beats him, I don't know where he's going to go after. Because Canelo doesn't want to give him a trilogy because it's a risky fight for Canelo, and if he loses, man, it'll make Canelo look really like Canelo's in a dodgy position. So I think it's a high risk, low reward fight. And everyone seems out with Golovkin, so not many people want to give him a fight.
If I was Canelo, I wouldn't go for a trilogy because Golovkin did give him. Well,
I think a wise fight to make for Golovkin. I don't mean the wise fight is in what's best for Golovkin to win, but I think a very interesting fight is Golovkin and Andrade, the WBO champs. 6'1", slick southpaw. Jaime Munguia, coming from super middleweight, 35-0, young guy. I mean, he's coming up from super middleweight, so he could take the advantage of that. But outside the top 10, outside the top 5 really is not much fights for him. You go Andrade, you go do everything a rematch, which I do think is kind of plausible, but Jeff Horner's not. You got Murata, who's just WBA secretary champ, who interesting Canelo's having talks with.
Jeff Horner fought Mike Pacquiao.
Yeah, that was a bit of a dodgy decision. And then you got Liam Smith, who's really super welter. You got Liam Williams, who looks to be trying to get a title shot against Andrade. So there's not much really for him to be at the super middle. No, middle, sorry. Forget about Danny Jacobs. Do you know what? We'll talk about one more thing. Who do you think Canelo's next opponent will be? Like he was a light heavy in his last fight. I think he won't be in middleweight. I think middleweight's risky option because he might not make the weight down to cut all that muscle off as well. So looking at the super middleweight rankings, I mean, you're in talks. Like, they don't want the Callum Smith fight because that's to them that's high risk, low reward. Danny Jacobs, he's already had him as well. The rematches are really questioned. Although I love Danny Jacobs, I do believe that the decision was wide. Like 160, 112, but it was comfortable in the first 6 rounds anyway.
I'll go Billy Joe Saunders.
They ruled him out because he's another high risk, low reward. I think because Billy Joe it's hard to find a fight for Canelo, really. I mean, he's got the super middleweight, he got John Ryder, who's a very low reward fight. I don't think he's a high risk either. His record does him injustice. He's 28-5, but he is a good level fighter, I think. He proved that against Callum Smith last time. So who do you think? Do you think for you, not knowing behind the scenes, do you think it's hard to see Canelo as opponent the next time?
I haven't honestly not sure. Because like you said, the top ones, they've been ruled out. And then everybody else up high end is a low reward situation. Because Canelo's number 1 pound for pound. So he's got to fight people who are high rank. But if no one anywhere near him or anybody he's interested in can fight him.
Yeah, like pound for pound here we see box record slightly is incorrect, as we know, with pound for pound. I mean, Alexander was 627.
Alright, yeah, sure.
I mean, like, yeah, says so.
Tyson Fury's 29 as well.
Yeah, it's hard. I think Callum Smith is the most rewarding fight for him, but I don't think VC has a high risk, low reward. Callum Smith is 6'3" and he's 5'9". So it'll be a huge difference in height. It'll be very similar to John Ryder, except Canelo's bigger than John Ryder. He's very thick-set and thick bone density. So it's very difficult to see who Canelo will fight next. There's talks he'll fight a Murata, and I wouldn't be surprised if he fights Murata to get exposure over the eastern countries.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And for him to get a quick knockout, because I don't think Murata's that high level. I watched him fight was it Rob Brunt? I think it was Rob Brunt, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
Where is he to? Robert Brunt, yeah, and Butler. I did watch his fight with Butler actually. And yeah, his biggest rival is Hassan Endam, we did lose to. And if you look there, he's a two-time world champion. And was proven that he's underestimated him twice. I don't think he's a high level fighter, to be honest. He's a biggest middleweight, 6'1".
He is.
And from Japan as well. So
Not many tall people around there. Actually, ignore what I just said. I'm not being racist. Statistically, there's less tall people in Japan than there is in Britain. That's not racist. That's fact.
so we're gonna end the video. Have you got anything more to talk about? Do you think there's anything more to discuss?
A lot of people have been asking me since my fight with Sam Roper didn't happen. They've been saying to me, who are you going to fight next? And I've said to them, I think the best decision for me, because the gym and the mismanagement and the fact that they didn't organise my fight with Sam properly, I didn't want to stay in that gym, and I wanted to go to a different gym, and we tried out a different gym, and we couldn't find it on that day. Obviously it exists, we were just being ridiculous. But I feel like the best choice for me right now is just going back to that gym that me and Niall fought in, and the one me and Sam were going to fight in, and just keep training there, and until I'm ready to go amateur, because obviously they have to organise amateur fights properly. They can't mess that up. So what I think I'll do now is maybe go amateur, but maybe down the line we'll see what happens. Because as I get more experience in boxing, less people are going to be willing to fight, because they'll know that by the time, if we train for 10 weeks and they haven't boxed before, it's going to be no contest. And that was one of the reasons that me and Sam weren't allowed to fight on that day, because one of the coaches said that one of the reasons he weren't going to let me and Sam spar on the 11th of December was because of the experience gap between us. Because Sam had only trained for about 3 months, but I trained for about 10, 11 months. And Sam hadn't sparred before, whereas I had plenty of runs. And he was just afraid that I would hit Sam. I didn't think I would, and at least not how he thought. So I didn't want to underestimate Sam. But Sam's lack of training obviously caused that. But then I feel like the lack of training in anybody else, even if they trained as hard as they could, we maybe wouldn't even be allowed to spar on that day if they didn't already have some past experience. And unfortunately, there just ain't enough people nearby to who are an even matchup for me that could have that have had past experience.
I think like obviously with the best round Dylan with different weight class.
Way different weight class, yeah. Plus he's way more experienced. I don't want to fight him personally.
There's no relatively thing matchups, because Ben's quite tall, quite a lightweight. Like what you?
I'm
like
6 foot tall and about 59, 60 kilos.
So
I am quite.
You're like a lightweight at the moment, super featherweight. So I think it's good. Yeah, I agree with you to keep going. And if you're interested in me and Ben doing some sparring and filming like a little documentary type thing, because I do admit, but after Ben and Sam had their match go over, I was really pissed off, and I had nothing trained for myself, so
because everybody wonders what I'm going to do, and they wonder if I'm going to rematch now. So I think we can agree that it's a possibility down the line.
It's a possibility down the line. I'm not sure quite now, because let's be honest, we'd have to make for a fight to 140.
Yeah.
135. I'm at the moment on 157, 158.
Yeah.
So even for proper nutrition, it'd be impossible for me to cut that much.
At least not in short time.
And not like in 8 weeks or 10 weeks. So at the moment, it's out of range, but I think maybe possibility in the future. But I do want I have plans to film like a documentary based series on me getting the weight back down, because and private sparring between me and Ben and stuff and on the gym. So if you want to see a documentary type series, comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. But that's it now. Thank you for Ben coming on here. It's been appreciated as always.
No problem.
Obviously Ben doesn't have a YouTube channel, like he uploads to plug in that. But yeah, as you can tell, guys, our fight brought us way closer. So yeah,
Go check out his update after a year of fighting. That's interesting one.
yeah, I think that was right. So thank you for watching, guys. Peace.